talking about?
Do you actually put a bleep in, or is it just a blank?
Oh, no,
you
I do a bleep, yeah.
Okay, good. I hate the
then
ones that
people
just
know.
cut out the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Because then it's like, what was that?
What was that?
30 seconds of nothing.
Yeah,
And their
no.
mouths were moving.
It's a nice little...
Yeah,
so,
all right, good.
yeah, that's a good time.
It's only happened to me once, I think.
Yes, you once, yes. Anyway.
Welcome to 7 Points, a podcast produced by the Arizona Department of Public Safety, where we talk to different individuals who make our department so great. Whether a state trooper or civilian support staff, every employee has a unique story and path they took to get here. 7 Points asks guests 7 specific questions to give listeners insight into what it means to work here and to be a part of the law enforcement family.
Well, welcome everyone to 7 Points, the podcast about the Arizona Department of Public Safety, our employees, and what makes DPS so great. So thank you for joining us today. Today we have, again, as we always say, our special guest is Vehicular Crimes Unit Detective Zach Cousins. So Zach, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll start with our dating profile questions. How long have you worked at DPS? You first started in October 2018 as a pre-hire, and then you got sworn in 2019. So you had a little bit of pre-hire time.
Yeah, I think about 3 months before the academy started. 2 to 3 months.
What did they have you doing as a pre-hire?
The criminal history records unit.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of fun.
Really
So
exciting
torture
stuff.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see, some of like how to run people and the back end stuff, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I mean, more power to the people that work
Yeah,
there.
no,
They're
absolutely.
an important part of the team here. It's just office stuff, not cop work usually. So your favorite food, you say you think there's a better question for this. What's not your favorite food, which is pot roast. So no pot roast.
Oh, terrible.
You describe yourself as a...
roast?
I mean, when you have it every week growing up as a kid, it gets a little much. Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's
those
fair.
soggy carrots, they don't do it for me. I don't know.
I hate cooked carrots. It changes the flavor, and I'll have a fresh carrot, no problem. But
Right.
cooked carrots, no.
Yeah, it shouldn't mush like that. That's
Eric wants to crunch, not the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants this
carrot crunch.
soft carrot? Ugh. But you describe yourself as a garbage can, and you love everything, mostly pizza, sushi, fish, and Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
I love all that stuff. So what's your
Not
favorite?
together, but separate. Yeah,
I don't know.
different days.
I'd give it a whirl.
Sushi pizza.
Oh, absolutely. Sushi Mexican pizza?
Let's start something.
Get a slice and roll some sushi.
Yeah,
up, and
that's what I
there
mean.
you have it.
What's your favorite pizza place?
Me and my wife, we used to live at 51st and Thunderbird at the apartments right there.
Okay.
The name is escaping me of that place, but there's a mom and pop pizza joint where you walk in and total hole in the wall. You don't want to go there. The name will probably come to me later. I can't remember, but that's the best one. But Grimaldi's is another good one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the best. That's my favorite personally. Yeah. What about sushi places?
My wife has one that she wants me to try. She said that one's going to top it, but I like Kwai and Squid Ink.
Okay,
Nice.
both good. Have you tried, because it's near, so I'm assuming we probably live in the same general area. Have you tried Harumi?
Oh, yeah, that place is good.
That place is good.
Where's that at?
Lake Pleasant Parkway and Happy Valley Road.
Okay, that's where that's the one that my wife wants.
Yeah.
me to
Okay,
There's
yeah.
one
So it's-
downtown, too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there is that. That was the original. The
Yep.
one up near me is the new one, but yeah, it's
Very
good.
good.
Yeah.
And you got to get I think it's called the Oh My God roll, and it's smoked.
Yeah,
Oh,
it comes a
it's
little
Right by the
amazing.
Aldi's there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's
Okay.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that place is good.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. What's your favorite movie? Interstellar. Okay.
Yes.
It's a good one. Why do you like
good.
it?
I'm a nerd, so I feel like it's kind of a nerdy, movie. So
Yeah.
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 I like that one, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
That's a
it.
good
I like
movie.
it.
It's like Interstellar, but in space.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
got that kind of feel.
Yeah. I mean, and McConaughey is just McConaughey, so
Yeah.
can't go wrong there. Favorite sport to watch? Baseball.
Baseball.
I'm assuming pro.
Yes.
There's not many college baseball fans, I feel, but I mean,
And there's a couple.
It's a
but yeah,
it's
no.
a niche. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
It's a thing.
yeah.
Are you a D-backs or is another?
D-backs,
D-backs.
yes.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
for sure.
And your hobby, or what do you do for fun? Being involved in your church, being with your family, enjoying your season tickets to the D-backs with your wife and kids.
Yep.
All right.
Not bad. I mean, season tickets.
I guess VCU. I don't know. I didn't know you guys got a stipend, but I mean, all right. Just kidding.
Well, again, welcome, Zach. Thank you for sharing that information with us and just kind of humanizing what a detective is. But thank you for being here. So we asked the same 7 questions to all of our guests, as I know you said you listened to or watched a few of the episodes. So our first question is, what did you do before DPS? Where did you grow up? What was life before being a state trooper like for you?
Yeah, before I was with DPS, I born in Phoenix, raised in Peoria, so been here my whole life. And before I was with DPS, I worked in a couple different places. My first job was in Kohl's as one of their point of sale people that was at the cashier stand. That's actually where I met my wife. So that's the
Nice.
It's probably the only good thing that came out of that one. That again, that wasn't really something I liked, but hey, it's my first job, so
Right?
They didn't give you a bunch of Kohl's cash on the way out or anything?
Oh no, yeah,
That was the retirement plan. And every time you got your little pay, they're like, if you spend this, we'll give you 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you spend over this, we'll give you more.
yeah. So that was, it was interesting. And then after that, I did end up working for 2 different restaurants. One of them was Airhead Grill, which is a steakhouse. I was a busser and food runner there at night, and then in the morning I served at Cracker Barrel. So serving was fun. That was a lot of fun doing that. Probably if the whole law enforcement cop thing didn't work out, honestly, I was probably going to stay there for quite some time and maybe work up the ranks into management
There
there.
you go.
I had fun. That was a lot of fun. It was hard work too.
Yeah.
But you're still serving the community.
Yeah, in a different way. Yeah,
Yep. Absolutely. No, I've worked in the restaurant business. It's a unique environment to say, and you got to stay active. That's the thing I try and tell people. I'm like, you can't be thinking that you're going to be standing around in any way, shape, or form. Like as a server, you've got multiple tables you're trying to work. You're moving from place to place, and you definitely learn how to talk to people.
yeah,
That's for sure. So, absolutely, that's cool. Where did you go to high school?
Liberty.
Liberty.
Oh, okay.
Did you play any sports or do anything there? Or?
I did. Soccer was my big one.
Cool.
I tried football. Wasn't really good at it. As you can see, I'm not the biggest kind of guy.
Listen,
Track and field. That's pretty much it.
right on. So you like running, is what you're telling me.
Not anymore. But yes, I did. I did at some point. My knees don't like it anymore.
Yeah, running's my nemesis, basically. Always has been. So I'm not doing anything like that. So what got you interested in law enforcement?
Basically, so in kindergarten when they ask you, what do you want to do when you grow up? So my first thing was being a police officer. My second one was being a dinosaur rider. So far,
Still working on that
Yeah,
one.
I'm still working on that one. It's kind of hard. There's not really a market for it yet, so I'm advocating for the Jurassic Park movies. Kind of help out.
That's what I mean. As soon as that comes around,
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. No, but I say that because it's been something I want to do, ever since I was young.
Right.
My dad was in law enforcement.
Okay.
Worked for Peoria PD for several years and retired out of there. So
Cool.
It's something I always wanted to do.
that's awesome. So did he eat the pot roast? Like I'm trying to figure out. Like or is that-
Everyone loved it. Everyone loved the pot roast, and it's not something. Then my mom knew that I did not like it, and still made it. So I had to eat something.
everybody else in the family is like, "Yay, pot roast," and you're like,
yeah,
"Pot roast."
yeah, yep. That's the only thing.
This is interesting because literally you're going to be one of my sons. My wife makes these chicken enchiladas. They're good. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it, but. And one of my kids is like, oh, I can't even stomach. Like he can't hardly even taste it. He hates it. It's gonna be him. He's gonna be just like you. He's gonna be like one day he's gonna be like anything. I'll eat literally anything, except for
This. Yep.
Well, you know, now that you talked about the pot roast, one of your colleagues is going to leave you a plate of pot roast
Yeah.
on your desk one day.
Oh, geez. And it's going to stink up the office. And yeah, they already yell at me for cooking fish in there. So, yeah, I have to go to like the microwave and really far away from the unit so that
Right.
way I can heat up my food.
Oh man, boy, we got off the rails on that.
You have a beef with that now? Or pot roast?
Hey, see what he did
One.
there? Yeah.
That's the
Right.
that's the media guy.
Yeah.
There's a button
Absolutely.
somewhere over here.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Oh
So
my
then-
goodness.
So your dad's working for Peoria PD. So what brought you to DPS instead of being that legacy, as we call it in law enforcement?
There's a couple of reasons behind that. So it came to find out that so the first department I did right along with was DPS. Instantly fell in love with the traffic aspect. Just being able to go fast down the highway, try to pull over a speeder and do that whole thing. That's what I liked. And I didn't really get that feel with city agencies as much. So I did a couple ride-alongs with some city agencies, and it was less traffic and more of everything else. Some of it was, barking dog calls or something that's not necessarily my niche. I want to do traffic. So that was one reason. The other reason, my dad is pretty involved with Peoria. It's a smaller agency, well known in Peoria. So I kind of also didn't want to live underneath the shadow at that point.
Yeah.
And kind of make a name for myself. And
Right on.
DPS gave me the first job offer, and that's the one I took.
I like that.
I feel like that's a common theme among a lot of, like I said, what we call legacy kids, where like half of them are like, yeah, I want to go continue that legacy of my family, and the other half are like, no, I want to do my own thing. I don't want to, like you said, be under the shadows. So that's interesting. I've just seen that in some of our other interviews that it's like that. But no, that's great. I think, not that there's a wrong answer there by any means, but I think if it was me, I don't know. Never mind. I don't know why I'm talking right now. So anyway, next question.
Because you're the host. That's why. Zach, walk us through some of the places you've worked in DPS, and then talk about your current role and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so haven't been, I mean, you read it there, haven't been sworn for that long, 2019. So, still young in my career here, but started off on the road, 3 years on the road, just over 3 years, and then came over in the Vehicular Crimes Unit. So, my first duty station was Metro East, swing shift. That was a lot of fun, pretty busy. Got a lot of DUIs out there, so that was I started getting to that whole thing, and it was fun doing that. It was fun working out east, and then I moved out to west, and I was there for, I would say, a year and a half, roughly, before I came over to this unit. And west was a different creature, because it's a lot slower.
It's a
than
different
east.
pace, yeah.
Yeah, but I had a lot more fun out in west than I did east, because I liked hunting. I liked doing that aspect and creating my own work,
Right.
per se. So, I mean, you have the rush hour. The rush hour is going to be the rush hour. You're going to get a bunch of crashes and stuff like that. But then when rush hour is done, it's time to go make your work.
Playtime.
Yeah, and that's what I liked. That was a lot of fun. But I wanted to be VCU for a while, so my dad was VCU with Peoria, so
right.
I had an understanding of what VCU is. It's the Vehicular Crimes Unit, so that's where I've been for coming up on 2.5 years in that unit, and this is where I wanted to be. I was surprised when I got the phone call that I was coming over as early as I did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back and say, okay, I probably should have done a couple more years on the road, because this is where I wanted to be.
Right.
And so it's fun. I love doing what we do now.
Tell us about what your unit does.
Yeah, so we investigate vehicular crashes, and it's going to be in any sort of criminal matter. So if anyone's majority of the time is going to be a homicide that we go and respond to. Every once in a while, we'll help out with other agencies with whatever they have going on, whether it's a critical incident, crash, or if it's a fatality on their end. Whatever that agency has, we'll help out with. We'll do the we'll do the scene work for them, document the scene, measure the scene, and help out whatever they need. And then we do the same thing for our troopers too. If it's not a homicide, we'll go out there and we'll help them out. So like ag assaults and things of that nature.
So now, for all of our people at home, just describe how a crash can end up being a homicide. Like what kind of things need to happen? Because obviously there's crashes where people die, unfortunately, and it's not a criminal matter. So explain the difference a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, so you'll have crashes that are civil in nature. And when I mean civil, there's no crime that led to that crash. And in this unit, we might provide assistance to those to maybe, give guidance to some of the troopers or some other agency on scene saying, hey, it looks like we have a crime here that caused the crash.
Yeah.
And when a crime causes a crash, that's usually what escalates it into like a manslaughter or a homicide or an aggravated assault. And that's usually when someone's driving a vehicle in a manner that they should not be driving, whether it's, they're driving in a reckless nature, they're driving while under the influence of drugs or alcohol or things of that nature. Maybe it was a road rage thing that went wrong. If that instance, whatever the criminal aspect led to the crash, that's what could escalate the charge, and that's when we get called.
There you go.
Talk a little bit about not necessarily how you run a case, because we don't want to give away everything, but VCU and our agency, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, it's kind of the nerdy unit, because the math the math and science that you guys utilize in your investigations, like I know I've had several friends that have worked there before, and they've shown me some of the stuff, and I was on REACT when I was on patrol, which for those of you that don't know, that's the Regional Advanced Collision Team, where we're not quite VCU level, but we've got some extra equipment to measure stuff and do all that kind of stuff. So we would help out at those scenes. And I've seen the math and stuff that you guys do, and I am not a math major or math whiz at all, and it goes way over my head. So kind of talking to that side of the, STEM is so huge now with education and with the youth and the kids right now. So kind of talking to that aspect.
Yeah, so a lot of our work in VCU doesn't happen on scene. A lot of it's on the back end stuff. And so it's behind the scenes. People don't really see what VCU does. So they do associate with math, and it's like, okay, well, all we do is math. Which, we do have a lot of math in there. And we want to have people that have a background or at least a will to understand the math behind it. But so we'll go to the scene. We'll do what we do on the scene. So we usually split up our guys into someone's taking the criminal side of it and someone's taking the crash side of it. So the criminal side of it, we're going to have detectives go, and they're going to talk to witnesses. They're going to talk to the people that are involved in the crash, and then get an understanding of, what happened through just interviews and try to find that out. And then you have the guys on the crash side that are on scene. They're looking at the evidence, and they're looking at the damage and what the road is saying, what the vehicles are saying, and then they'll come up with the determination of, what probably happened at that point on scene, and then we document it as such. From there, we take all that stuff that we have, and we go back in our office, and then we start doing the magic. And that's, taking the stuff that we have from the scene, and we start creating these diagrams and these, drawings and things like that, so where we can show what happened through those means. And then we take that information, and then that's when we apply any sort of the physics or the math or anything like that might apply to it. And we could do that through several means. Vehicles, a lot of them capture data within it. So there could be something in the infotainment system that captured something. There could be something in the any sort of event data recorder, which is anything in your car that captures stuff that happened during a crash sequence. We take that data, we analyze it, and we interpret it to our evidence on scene and say this data is part of our scene.
Right.
And then we can start determining, okay, this vehicle is traveling at this speed or this speed, in between two different speeds at the time of crash or before the crash event. And then we can also do that with the evidence that we have on the road itself. If we, measure tire friction marks or things of that nature, our unit doesn't have this right now, but being able to look at the damage and being able to assess how much energy was lost in. I can nerd out on all this stuff, but
Yeah, go for it.
yeah. But yeah, we take a lot of that stuff, and people that are way smarter than me, way smarter than anyone else in the unit, created this stuff and used the physics behind it and applied it to cops and tried to teach it to us, and that's how we came up with it.
And we're all dumb.
Right.
So
Do you guys have a time frame, like when you from start to finish, or is it kind of open? Is it 2 weeks, 2 months, or just kind of open?
For like submitting a case?
Yeah, yeah.
So it depends. So if it's like an in custody investigation, so someone was arrested and then booked into jail. So we have a certain time frame. It's dependent on what county we're working in, or wherever that the crime occurred in, of when do we need to turn in the case. A lot of times we don't have everything, but we'll get as much as we can to support the charges and have the charges. If they go before a grand jury or things of that nature, we'll get what we can to them at that point. But a lot of the back end stuff, the reconstruction reports or the analysis reports and all this other stuff, that's going to be several weeks to. And it also depends on the caseload too. So we have other cases obviously that might have a higher priority, or hey, we're still on call, and then we're trying to work on this case, and the phone rings, and okay, let's go. So it depends. We try to get it done as soon as possible because it's better to get them out the door, because if you don't get them out the door and you get that call and you're like, oh no,
Right.
now I got all this other stuff that's backed up.
It's piling up. Yeah.
So, and we've all experienced that in the unit, and we find it a blessing when we don't have that all piled up, and
Right.
we're like, oh, okay, what do we do? And then we're reading, expert reports or different case studies and things of that nature so that we can apply to the next one. But for the most part, we always have some case load.
Gotcha.
yeah.
I liked what you said about what the scene is saying to you, or what the vehicles are saying to you, because a lot of people, those of you listeners who aren't in law enforcement, they're going to drive by a collision scene, especially a fatal or whatever, and they're just going to see a bunch of guys standing around, or it looks like they're standing around. They're going to see the crash cars and they're going to say, oh, crash. But I always thought when I was on React, it was so interesting to take that step back and look at the scene, and you're literally that's, I think, a great way of describing it. Of that scene is talking to you. You're seeing these gouge marks in the roadway and the tire friction marks, what we call skid marks, and all this stuff. And you're going, okay, this vehicle did this. It went on its side here. I'm seeing the scrapes that coincide with the scrapes on the side of the car, and you're really reading that whole scene and taking it all in. And then you guys just put everything together with your scans and everything. Talk about some of I know you touched a little bit on the technology of some of the stuff you have, but especially like when I was on React, we had the old construction surveyor equipment where we had one guy with this big kind of camera looking thing, and then another guy with another pole that you'd go around all these points, and it would take us hours to document these scenes. And then to make the diagram was just a freaking headache. It took forever. So talk a little bit about, our agency is at the forefront of so much of that technology now with drones and 3D scanners and everything. So talk a little bit about that if you could.
Yeah, so we have pretty much 4 means of documenting scenes like that. And the reason why we want to document the scene in a certain way is to present in a courtroom setting. Most of the time, they want a 2D diagram. When I mean a 2D diagram, it's a top down looking down, so like a Google Earth image of that roadway with however the evidence is, with wherever the position of the vehicles are and things of that nature. So we want to present that, and then we also have other means of presenting videos or 3D point clouds of it. And so what we teach, so VCU, we also teach the academy. We teach the academy basic and advanced collision. And actually, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go there and teach them. So, but we teach them the manual way, to where they're measuring it with tape measures and roller tapes. So that is one way that we could do a scene. That is not the most optimal way of doing a scene, because we do have human error in that. So But if that's what we have, that's what we're going to do. It's better than nothing at that point.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Hate that.
Many.
Oh my gosh.
So hopefully
Many
it's not
times.
raining, and then we'll do it that way. But we also have 3D scanners. So we'll take the 3D scanner, we'll have it on scene, and we move it in different areas to capture certain things, and then it'll capture the data, and then we take that into our processing stuff, and we just line it all up and make it. It basically is like you're walking through the scene again into the computer.
Wow.
So we can use that to create that 2D diagram, or we can use that to have just a 3D point cloud to bring in the courtroom setting and saying, hey, this is what our scene looks, and it's almost like you're walking through the scene. It's pretty cool. We do have, it's newer now. It's not the 2-man station or the the big camera system with the pole. It's just the pole. It works in the same fashion, but it's a GPS system, essentially, is what it is. And so it'll do the same thing that you did when you were using that. And it creates that 2D diagram a lot quicker than the 3D data would. And so that's one thing we do. So we usually do those two in tandem, the 3D and then the that GPS one, so we can get a quick 2D out for the crash. And then the other thing we can use is drones, and the drone is going to be great for that top-down image to create that 2D. There's some limitations with the drones, but if we have one available and we can put it on our scene, we do. And then they're great for videos and photos. I mean, I'm a sub 6 foot guy, so my photos are not going to be as nice as a drone that can go up 50 feet. So it's more jury appeal, eye appeal for that. So
I think it's always fascinating to see the technology advancements that we've had, because like I said, when I was doing it years ago, it was taking us 4 hours to document a scene or longer, and now I feel like I'll get a call as the PIO, hey, we got a fatal out there, and I'm having to race to get there before you guys have the scene all cleaned up so I can get the information, get it out to the public and to the media. So the amount of time that it takes has so significantly decreased. It's been just interesting to watch you guys do your thing now. So
and the time is an interesting one too. I would say majority of the time taken is to prepare for documentation. And that's usually, if you see us, it looks like we're standing on the scene, right? Not doing a whole lot. But we are doing a whole lot, and it's us detectives talking about the scene. And we're saying, okay, we think that this happened. We think that this happened. And it's good to do there because we only get the scene once. So if we don't do that on scene, it's harder to visualize it later on, and we might miss something. So it's good to really, take your time and document it. We know we want to get the road open, but we also want to make sure we do a thorough investigation too. So
yeah, and I think that's big because I know in our office we'll get the comments on social media and everything. Why was the roadway shut down for so long for this or that or whatever, whether it's a fatal or a shooting or anything else. And I've actually had some people ask me that exactly, like it was just a shooting. Why did you have to have the road shut down for 8 hours? And it's like, we as an agency, and I think just we as humans, owe it to these other people where in these cases, somebody likely is dead now, if not multiple people are dead. We owe it to them, to their family, to their loved ones to do the most thorough investigation possible. And by utilizing units like you guys, that's what we're doing. Yeah, it does take time, and our priority is always to get the road open as soon as possible. But that does not supersede the importance of doing a thorough investigation and making sure that we have all our ducks in a row for sure, which is frustrating on my end. But that's the best way that we have to say it. Like, if it was your family member that just got killed, wouldn't you want us to do a thorough investigation?
Exactly.
And you guys utilize every tool in the toolbox to do that every time. So I hope those of you that are listening and watching understand that. So thank you for doing that for them.
it's our job to speak for the dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Indeed.
I don't know who did the last question, if it was me or you or what, but
Well, we know what it is. What's your favorite part about DPS?
It is this unit.
Right.
I like doing this unit, and there's several cool things about this unit that I like, and the best part about being in this unit, in my opinion, is solving a puzzle.
Right.
Essentially, we take the scene. The scene is our puzzle, and then we use the scene to, and solving the puzzle is basically getting the conviction, doing what we can, or maybe not getting the conviction too. We're looking at a scene, and it also could be to exonerate someone
Right.
too.
Right. Absolutely.
Someone can be looked at, that they did commit a crime, and our evidence shows that they did not commit a crime.
Yeah.
So it's basically to solve a puzzle. There's high liability with some of these cases, a lot of money involved, you can imagine, with vehicles being damaged or injuries being sustained. So that's the fun part, being able to go in front of someone and say, this is what happened and this is why it happened. So that's one aspect that's fun. The other aspect is, we help out a lot of people. We help out a lot of people in the agency. We go to a lot of different places. So I got to see parts of the state that I never thought I would see. So the places that I didn't know existed. And so it was cool seeing that and being able to meet other people from other agencies. So all that all together is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So to me, it sounds like you're in kind of your dream spot. I mean, you've said this is where you've wanted to be. Which again, I'm just going to say, I think is really cool for this podcast because almost every guest we've had on here is like, I'm where I want to be. I love what I do. And I think that's really cool for especially a department that has so many opportunities that so many people are getting those opportunities to go where they want to go. But anyway, if you weren't to be in VCU, what else sounds like, that would be fun. I would like to try that.
If I weren't to be in VCU, I would like to build upon VCU, but what I would really like to do is I like teaching. So basically gaining a lot of knowledge in different aspects and being able to teach that. So like I said, I'm going to teach the academy right after this. That's something I enjoy. So I would say something in a teaching aspect. I did have a wish to promote at some point. Being in this unit, that kind of went away because I have so much fun doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
But at some point, that might come back around, and so maybe a promotion, so that way I can, share the knowledge that I've learned while being in this unit and helping out other agencies with, pretty intensive criminal investigations and start shedding that light onto other people. So I would say something in that aspect. I don't have a particular unit in mind, but somewhere where I can, being able to share some knowledge. Not that I know a whole lot or anything like that, but I just like teaching and I like helping out. So I'm just a social person in that aspect.
Yeah. Nice. You said you'd like to build onto VCU. What do you mean? Or what would you like to see?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah. So build on the VCU, and
not to throw you under the bus with your chain or anything on the podcast, but
and it's going to be the teaching aspect of it. So I'm actually one of the most senior guys in the unit. A lot of the three of us that are the most senior have under 3 years in the unit. Yeah. So we're building upon it, meaning that we're gaining the specialties. There's specialties in motorcycle reconstruction, commercial vehicle reconstruction, everything like that. So building upon it by gaining the knowledge, and then at some point, hopefully sharing that knowledge with others that are coming up in the ranks, or some of the REACT guys or things of that nature, or other agencies, and being able to maybe share that knowledge and share some of the successes with them. So that's kind of what I meant on that.
Gotcha. Yeah, before you came in here, we were literally just talking about how when we were in the Special Investigations Unit, when we worked really closely with VCU because they documented all of our crime scenes, all our homicides and stuff. VCU was the old heads. They were all guys that had been there for years, over a decade, a lot of them, and had been at the agency for decades. And now it's just shifted, not in a bad way at all, but now it's a lot of the younger guys that are kind of taking up the mantle now and moving forward with it. So we were literally just saying how it's interesting that it's a much younger group and a newer group. But I think in a way, law enforcement is getting that way anyway, and it's better because the younger guys are going to be better with the new technology. They're going to be more adaptable than us older guys that are like, I don't know how to do this.
You mean you, older guy? I'm just kidding.
So
no, it is exciting because you can also see how it grows too. So you take what we're passed on from the guys that were older. We're in the unit for a longer time, and they share their knowledge, and then we build upon it, and we continue. So it's ever so advancing, and especially as technology advances too.
Well, and that's in law enforcement. That's literally how we've come up with most of the techniques we use, is because somebody somewhere down the line thought, I'm going to try this. They tried it. It worked. They improved it. The next group improved it, and so on and so forth until it got to us. And then we're just using it. And hopefully all of us have the attitude that you have that, hey, I want to make this a little bit even better than what I got it and pass that on to somebody. Because otherwise, our whole career would be in the tank. So, because you have to pass on that knowledge. That's all there is to it. So, well, now it's our final and sometimes the best question, honestly. It's what we call our trooper tale, if you will. So, it doesn't have to be embarrassing, but it's funner when it is. Embarrassing, funny, interesting story from your time at DPS.
This is the question that took me a while to
It
try to figure out.
stresses people out.
Because I have a lot of cool tales, some that might not be able to be shared over this mic. Either they're too embarrassing, or being a VCU, I see some pretty not so cool things.
Oh yeah.
So it took me a while to figure this one out, but I have one, and it might not be as good as some of the other ones that I've heard.
There have been some graphic ones.
I mean, we started off
Yeah.
with the Colonel, and I don't think anyone could top that one.
I don't think
I know, right?
I don't think anybody dares to.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
John Slamman got close, but
Yes.
still not.
Yeah, that
to
was
the
a good one
level.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, you know what? I can't live up to this expectation,
that's
but
a
I'll
lot.
try. I'll try. So one thing I liked doing when I was working the road is I liked having ride-alongs. I'm a social guy. Sitting in a car by myself, sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm just bored, and I'd have conversations with myself, and it's just weird, But I liked having people with me, and then it was a goal when I had someone with me to get an arrest.
right.
All right, people that's
why
what
they're
law
there.
enforcement does.
Right,
People
right.
when you play cops and robbers growing up, you always arrest someone. So
Right.
that's what I want to show people that what we do. So it was my job to go in there and try to find something. And so I had some ride-alongs that were great. So I had my wife, I had my dad, I had my mom, and all of them were great. And I'm not discrediting any of them, but I had one ride-along that I needed to prove something. It was my father-in-law.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I had to prove something,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Because hey, I need to show them what we do, and I
Right.
need to go all out on this one.
Right.
And I don't remember a whole lot about that day, honestly. Like, from my understanding, it was a lackluster day. We're starting to head home because I'm like, oh, I can't find anything. Like, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, this sucks. But we're driving home, and then all of a sudden a call comes in, and the call was someone was reporting his vehicle stolen. He was driving on the highway and saw someone driving his car.
Oh.
So he was driving, or his wife's car.
Right.
Saw someone driving his wife's car, and he's like, it's stolen. So it wasn't reported stolen initially, but he's basically making a report saying, this is my wife's car, and someone's driving it.
Right.
It's not my wife. Please pull over this guy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, this is it.
Right.
We can have something fun with this one. So
Yeah.
I got to show him, how to go fast. I got to show him how to respond code and go in there with lights and sirens. And then someone makes a stop. I can't remember who it was, but someone makes a stop, and I show up just shortly after. I see him. He has guns out on the guy. He's calling him back to the car and whatnot. And so I'm like, oh, sweet. Yeah, now I get to show him. I could have my gun out
right,
and everything
right.
else too. So I'm like, this is great. And so I do that, and I join him with it. And then when the scene starts calming down, and we start talking to the guy. And then the guy that called it in also showed up behind.
Right.
Well, turns out that the guy that we hooked up that was driving his wife's car was wife's boyfriend.
I knew it.
Yeah. So that's how he found out that his wife, had someone else in mind as well. So,
Womp womp.
yeah.
Yeah.
So got to have that experience too.
Right. Right.
And they say police aren't social workers.
Yeah.
Come on.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not only did the dude that was given his wife's car to drive get to drive away with that car because it's technically his wife's car,
Right.
he also found out that his wife might be cheating on him. So that was another thing.
That's a
Yowzers.
different type of NOK.
Yes.
Death of a relationship right there that you served. So, whew.
Wow. That's a good one.
That's,
I like
that's,
that.
that's pretty
That
good.
is a
Yeah,
good
that is a
story.
good
Pretty
one.
good.
All that in front of my father-in-law too.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, finally, I got something
Yeah.
cool.
Like,
And then we ended up just laughing our way home. I mean,
Wow.
laughing because it's a crappy situation
Yes,
for the guy,
but-
but it was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
whoops.
what a way to find out.
Wow.
Well, Zach, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all this stuff with us. Thank you for doing what you're doing, because it's not anything that I've really ever wanted to do. Because again, there's a lot of stuff that I don't understand, and it's for guys just like you that are meant for that kind of stuff and understand it and do a great job with it. So thank you for that. For our listeners and our viewers, if you are interested in a career with DPS, please reach out. We do have a recruitment unit. You can also go to recruitment.azdps.gov. If math and science and this kind of stuff is your thing, then hey, this could be a spot for you. We've
Come
got
on
something
down.
for everybody. So come
Nerds
check
are
it out.
welcome.
Yes, absolutely. Nerds are welcome. So come on, join us, and hope you enjoy this episode. And like, follow, share, subscribe, and keep listening to our future episodes. Thanks a lot.